to What It Takes. I am here today with six-star diamond Michelle Pfile from Canada. What area are you from again?
I'm from Southwestern Ontario.
There you go, Southwestern Ontario. And here with What It Takes, guys, I am the regional manager for Canada on the coach development team here at Beachbody. If you have questions and want to get in touch with your regional person or contact, please see FAQ 7581. So we are just going to get right into this. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself, Michelle.
Well, a little bit about me. So I just turned 44, and in like the Beachbody land, that's like 104. So if I can still do this, everybody can. I'm a wife and a mom to a little girl, little 7-year-old spunky person. My husband, Terry, works at home here with me. I am a retired Aveda salon and spa owner. So I totally switched gears at 40 years old. And this definitely was not in my, this was not in my plan. I thought I was going to have like Aveda salon franchises. I was not going to be a Beachbody coach. So you just never know where your life is going to take you. And like you said, I live in Ontario. I live in Grand Bend. So I live in this little town that right now has about 2,000 people. And in the summer, it can grow to 50,000. So if you've ever been here, you've probably walked right by my house because I live basically right behind the water. So that's where my little neck of the woods is, and my office, and where I do everything now. I never leave my house, which is amazing. I'm such a homebody. This is perfect.
I love it. That is crazy. I didn't know that you lived in an area that was so visited in the summers. That's intense. 50,000 from 2,000 to 50,000.
Yeah, crazy.
Awesome. Well, how were you introduced to Beachbody?
Wow. I don't know if you really want to hear this story. So about 20 years ago, I was 80 pounds heavier than I am now. And I truthfully was lying on the couch eating something. My guess is it was Cheesies, chips, possibly some cereal right out of the box. It was 1 a.m. and I happened upon a Beachbody infomercial, and it was Slim and Six, that Debbie Siebers, and she was going at it. And I remember thinking, this is the answer. This is totally what is going to get this weight off of me. I had just recently split up with my first husband, and, I was just in a really bad place. And that to me looked like it was going to be the answer. It was not. However, I did buy the program. I would imagine I even had to call to place my order. I don't know if it would have been online at that time. I can't remember. So I did do the program. I used the workouts. I remember struggling through them, but I was very committed. But I never did Shakeology. I didn't even look at the nutrition plan. I was a yo-yo dieter. I mean, whatever quick fix you could help that I could find, I did. But I did commit to the workouts, and I kept, every time I kind of wanted to lose a little bit more, I would buy a new program. I would go to Beachbody. It was my go-to. And I actually spent a lot of time on the Beachbody message boards. I spent a ton of time scouring those. A lot of you won't even remember what that is, but it was pre-coaching network. And that's kind of where I got support long before coaching was even a possibility in Canada. But that's really how I was introduced to Beachbody.
Awesome. Now, once you started as a coach, what did those early days look like?
Well, my early days as a coach, I was running a pretty big business. I staffed about 15 people. I had a 3-year-old at home. My dad was actually super sick. He had lung cancer. So it was very busy, and coaching became this sort of stress reliever for me. I had finally lost all my weight. So I actually happened upon an ad on Facebook. I did not know my coach when I signed up as a coach. I had tried Shakeology once and hated it. And I had never, ever followed a meal plan or been in a challenge group. So you guys, Like, you just never know who you're going to happen upon someday. But I was really, really passionate about Beachbody workouts. I loved them. Like I said, they were always my go-to. And I really was starting to feel confident, and I wanted to make it easier for other women. I really had that passion. So I dove right in, I absolutely dove right in. I thought it was the coolest opportunity. I remember getting my first $100 paycheck and running to the mailbox, because at the time they were sent to us, snail mail, and running and just feeling like so accomplished that I had done something on social media. It was totally out of my wheelhouse, and I earned $100. And I loved it. Like, I just became almost addicted to doing it more and more and more. So I definitely dove right in. I knew nothing. I had a couple hundred friends on Facebook. The only reason I was on Facebook at the time was I'm the oldest of a whole bunch of cousins, and they're way younger and way cooler than me, but I wanted a way to, up my cool level with them and be able to communicate with them. That was really the only reason I was on social media. And then it turned into this really cool place to interact with women and help them with their health and fitness, and sort of share with them my struggles. And yeah, those were the early days. They were super, super busy, but because I loved it, it was like a hobby. It was a hobby that I didn't want to put down.
Yep. Wasn't as much work as it was just fun. And I mean, you were managing a salon at that time. So you put in what you could, when you could, and made it work. Yeah. I love it. Now, with that busy time frame, what would you say are some of the habits and attributes that contributed to your success?
Definitely just consistency. But what I want to kind of share with people is I didn't realize that at the time. Like, I don't even remember hearing about the vital behaviors until I'd been a coach for a little bit. So it was really just me being focused on my journey and sharing it on social media. That is all I did. I didn't know anything else. Funny enough, I was doing some coach training, and I literally scrolled all the way back in my feed 4 years to see what some of my first posts looked like. So let's just all know that when you start, you don't have to know what you're doing. You will evolve and you will learn. So you do not need to look like a top coach right now. All you need to do is get on your journey, whether you're on it now or just started, and just share it. Use your social media as your accountability partner. And that is all I did. I mean, that is all I had time for. Little sweaty selfie, drink more water. I would share what I was cooking. That's all I did. There was definitely nothing epic going on when I first started as a coach. I didn't have time, and I didn't really know. It was just about being brave enough to share my journey with others. And that's all I did.
I love it. I think what's so unique right here for you, Michelle, is social media was an avenue of keeping connected with family, and not necessarily an avenue of promoting and talking about yourself. So there was definitely a learning curve there. But you made it happen and you figured it out. And I think that's such a key to this business, and that's the consistency over time. Now, with that being said as well, for a brand new coach who kind of doesn't know where to get started, what would you recommend?
Honestly, just like I said, just get on your journey. Like, just pick a program and commit. I think it is incredible that at the top of our job description, all that it says is look after yourself. Like, that is so awesome. Like, what other job tells you to look after yourself? And that's really all you need to do. Get on your journey, really commit to it, commit to a program, and make the decision that you're going to be brave enough to share it, because you have to share it. That is how you're going to inspire other people. And it's scary. I had to post my before and after Transform 20 thing this morning. I did not necessarily want everyone to see me all fluffed up last 6 weeks ago, but I also know that this is a business and this is what I do, and it's going to inspire people. When someone sees that, they think, wow, if that 44-year-old can do that, so can I. And that's what I want to do. That's why I decided and chose to be a coach, is to inspire other women. So somewhere you have to dig deep and be brave enough to share what you're doing. And that's why if you just share your journey consistently every day, it's not that scary. It gets to be actually sort of fun. If you can find the joy in it and share what it really does for you, then it almost becomes addictive. That's all you need to do. That's all you need as a new coach, is to really just dig in and lean into the stuff that brings you joy. For me, that was always social media. I loved, sharing freebies and which can be a recipe. It doesn't have to be anything epic, like what you're making for supper, or just sharing that with people and really helping them. And giving to others will always bring back to you. I have always been such a big believer in, the more I can give, just throw out on social media, the more I'm going to get back from others.
Absolutely. It's so key to just sharing, right? If you just share and talk genuinely, that's how you really connect with people. Now, along the same lines, for a coach who's been struggling, maybe they've been at this for a little bit, they kind of just been struggling, maybe even debating on, should I continue with this? What would you say to them, and how would you help them kind of get out of their rut?
I mean, I have a big team now, so I definitely hear this all the time, and it's frustration and they're overwhelmed. And what I always say to people is, you need to lean in and reevaluate your goals. Let's see what you really want, because you don't have to want the same thing as me. You don't have to be a top 10 coach to be a really amazing coach. Maybe right now, the only thing that fits into your life is getting the discount, and that's okay. The cool thing about this is it's your own business. It is absolutely your own business. So figure out what it is that you truly, truly want and can do right now. Because, someone coming in with a brand new baby and 2 other kids, they don't have as much time as I do right now. So we got to really be realistic. The other thing that I often say is, okay, so you want to quit? You want to quit looking after yourself? If you are here for the right reasons, so if you signed up to be a coach for the right reasons, you love our products, you want this community, this actually makes you a happier, healthier person, and now you're telling me you want to quit, that makes no logical sense, because you're just quitting on yourself. There's no expectations of any coach in this network. You can be a coach and literally just get the discount and be part of the team page and be part of that community. Maybe you want to help a couple family members. We'll dig into that. Maybe you do want to share on social media. Figure out where your goals align and then refocus. My goals have changed every single year. Every single year in January, I have a big call and I got all these big goals. Well, a couple months later, something might happen in your life and you can reevaluate. But quitting, who does that? Who quits on themselves? It just doesn't make sense to me. Don't get me wrong. I've had coaches quit all the time, and it always makes me think, you weren't here for the right reasons, because you wouldn't ever want to quit taking care of yourself.
Yep. When you break it down, that's what it is, right? Taking care of yourself and taking care of others. And that ultimately is a phenomenal life. So last question before we get into the speed round, but it is, in terms of your business, what's been some of the best business advice you've been given as a coach?
Well, funny enough, you know what? This was the only question that I had to really think long and hard about. And guys, I have been an entrepreneur my whole life. So I worked at a hair salon for a couple of years, and then I opened my own business. And my family, I come from entrepreneurs. So really, I've been given so much advice over the years. And funny enough, as I dug into this question and thought about it, one person in my life gave me the best advice, but he also gave me what we could think is the worst advice. And that was my dad. My dad was a very successful businessman. grew a business from the ground up to become a multi-million dollar company. So, I mean, I took his advice pretty seriously and really respected him as a business person. And he definitely taught me a lot that I know. And from a very young age, he told me, you know, if you can wish it, you can do it. There's some quote like dream it, do it, wish. I don't know what the quote is, but he often said that to us. Like, if you have a dream, you go for it. So I came to him with my MLM dream, my Beachbody dream, and he looked at me and said, "You are crazy. You are 40 years old, Michelle. You've got an amazing business already. Don't get off course. You only have to do this for 20 more years." And I looked at him and I was like, what the what? Like, who are you? Now, I'm going to chalk it up to the chemo that he was on. Like, I don't know why he said that, but it was crazy. But what it did was it fueled me. That negativity that he said to me that day, oh my gosh. And I mean this in no disrespect, but he was very sick at the time. And we knew that he wasn't going to be with us for much longer. And what it made me do was like, I am doing this and I am going to be successful before he is not here. And funny enough, and sadly, but 2 weeks before he passed away, he did take me and say, you know, good for you. You followed your dreams and you did it. And it was interesting because Dad died the last day I cut hair. It was unbelievable how all the timing kind of played out. But he was always my driving force in business. But so it was kind of interesting that he said that sort of negative thing that actually pushed me even harder. And that's what I have to tell you guys. You're gonna have negativity. Like, honestly, this is different. This is not the normal route people take to freedom, but it can be such an amazing ride if you can actually just dig into it and believe in yourself. If you have a passion for this, don't let anybody knock it out of you. Use it as fuel. That's what I did. I had several people in my life. If you can imagine, I had a successful business. It made no sense. It even didn't make sense for me to do this. You know, at times I was like, what are you doing? But I still had that fire in me and I kept going and I used all the negativity as fuel to push me, and it sure did. You know, it all turned out really well. So that's kind of a roundabout answer to your question, but that really was what I came up with when I thought about who gave me the best/worst, but ended up being the best advice.
Yep, I love it. And you know what? Maybe deep down inside, he knew it would fire the engines to kind of push you to go after the dreams. You never know when they're in that kind of mindset. But thank you for sharing. That kind of gave me chills as you were talking about it. And sorry for the loss, obviously, but fun to see how everything does. The puzzle fits together all the time, right?
For sure.
So we'll go into the speed round to wrap things up. So just a couple questions. And so start us off. How many hours a day do you put into your business?
Total disclaimer, way too many. You guys, that is my weakness. I love this so much. I really do. And some of you might be thinking, this girl is crazy. But honestly, I really do. My husband, Terry, and my daughter have to flip my screen down. I have no control over the hours. I could never even put a time frame on it. I love it. Honestly, that is the honest answer. I know that I probably work too much, but honestly, I really enjoy it. So yeah, that's me.
Let's flip this a little bit because I like this too. When you started, you were running a salon business and you were building this coaching business. So at that time, how much time do you think you were putting in?
A couple hours a day, honestly. And where I fit that in, because that's what everybody wants to know. I got up earlier and I stayed up later. That was the only time I could do it. So I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and I stayed up later. I used to be a really early to bed person and I just ended up staying up later. But I would say like 2 hours during the week And then on the weekends, I dug in. I was really lucky. Terry was so supportive from the very beginning. I mean, I'm sure he thought I was crazy too, but he totally supported me. He probably knew I was going to do it anyways. So he would take Delaney for a couple hours and I could get a little bit more work done on the weekends. But one tip I give everyone, your weekends are no longer for sleeping in. Like be done with it. Like, you've got to figure out how you're going to fit this into your already busy life. So one thing I always did on the weekends was I still woke up at 4:30 and I got a longer period of work done. I didn't have to go to work those days. So I still got up early and maybe had 4 hours of work instead of that 1 hour.
I love it. Now, let's do this on this question as well. Where you're at now and kind of where you were at the beginning, but average SC per month.
Well, to be honest, when I was a new coach, my average SC would probably be like 50 a month. I was always a very big Success Club earner, which is amazing. It was great retail. And then I discovered, wait a second, I love leading a team. Like I love helping a woman make money. And I just love it. So I put a lot of focus on my team now. So my average Success Club is always 20 to 30 every single month, just because that's my benchmark. 20 is my benchmark. If it's lower than that, I'm disappointed in myself. But I really love helping my team. So I focus a lot more on them now. So that divvies up the time that I have. So it's about 20 now, I would say.
That actually goes perfectly into the next question, which is how much is building your business and into your team and customers?
Yeah. So I have a really pretty solid strategy for that. And it's more about numbers. So I get myself to Success Club 10 first. I concentrate on my business. My coaches will tell you, I don't know where Michelle is this week, but she's not really, usually I'm really focused on them. But until I get myself to 10, I really focus on my business. Obviously, I'm around, but not as much. After I get myself to 10, I really focus a lot on them. Obviously, I'm still doing the vitals. Like I still do the vitals every single day. I think sometimes people think that higher ranked coaches aren't doing the vitals. Heck, we're doing the vitals like 10x. So I still do the vitals every day. So that brings in those 10 more or those 5 more people, but I really focus on my coaches and helping them get to Success Club and, making them believe in themselves. A lot of times when you start as a coach, that's what we're working on, right? Your confidence and your belief and helping you get to your health and fitness goals and getting you into social media world and all of that. So, I really, really enjoy that part of this business.
Awesome. Now, how many coaches do you enroll per month?
Not a big recruiter, like 6 to 10 would be I think my average. I honestly didn't go look. I don't really have a benchmark. I just I ask everybody and build a relationship and see what happens. But probably 6 to 10 would be my average. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much. Now we have your favorite question that you've been waiting for, the random hat question. So we will dig in here and let's see, we're going to snag this one. Okay, random hat question. What was your first CD that you ever owned?
Oh my gosh. So I already said this to Jake, like I'm 44. That was years ago. Well, I can remember having Cyndi Lauper, but I feel like that was a cassette. I don't know that I can actually determine what was a cassette and what was a CD, but I don't know. Cyndi Lauper was one. I remember. I don't know.
We'll take that. CD, cassette, depends on the time frame you grew up, right?
Exactly.
I remember mine was Linkin Park Hybrid Theory was the first CD I owned that I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
I love music, so I definitely had tons, but I had tons of cassettes and then we moved over to CDs. And so, yeah, that's how old I am.
Well, thank you so much. This has been phenomenal. I definitely see a lot of this just came down to your keys to success are consistency and passion. Love what you do. Find where you truly like what you love about this business. And that's where you see the success, because that's when people see you as genuine. That's when they connect and attract to you. And you're not going to be perfect at the start. You grow and you improve over time. So really, thank you so much for sharing, Michelle. You are phenomenal.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jake.
You bet. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.